Hello guys, meet again with Qinima Sports. The MMA battle arena is undeniable, it is a brutal battle arena. Not infrequently television channels that broadcast MMA matches had to make the screen color black and white. So are boxing matches. In fact, from research results, data reveal that boxing has a higher risk of injury and death. Although, both still have a high risk of severe injury, such as dislocations or fractures, but the longer the sport is getting more fans. The question is, what if the two fighters between boxing and MMA were met in one ring? Surely the crossover fight of the two boxers will be the attention of all fans, both from MMA and from boxing. Here are 5 fights between MMA versus the most legendary boxing. But before we continue, please press the subscribe button and activate the bell, so as not to miss the latest updates from Qinima Sports. Evander Holyfield vs Victor Belfort. World boxing legend Evander Holyfield returns to the ring for the first time in a decade, on the week of September 12, 2021. The match takes place at Seminole Hard Rock, Hollywood, Florida, USA, in the exhibition party Holyfield vs Belfort, which was planned to last for 8 rounds, 2 minutes in each. Holyfield, the boxing legend, will fight Victor Belfort, a great MMA fighter who graduated from the UFC. There was actually a slight gap in this match, as Belfort, then 44, was fighting Holyfield, who would turn 59 next month. Not surprisingly, Belfort won in a short time over Holyfield, at 1:49 seconds in the first round. Previously, Belfort had twice brought down Evander Holyfield through an uppercut and a jab, before the referee stopped the fight with a technical knockout. Initially, the fight was slated to see Oscar de la Hoya vs Victor Belfort, but Oscar was exposed to COVID-19, so the match was replaced by Evander Holyfield. The match also featured the former President of the United States, Donald Trump, as a guest commentator. Anderson Silva vs Tito Ortiz. Before the main game Holyfield vs Belfort started, first appeared 2 UFC legends who fought in boxing format. They are Anderson Silva vs Tito Ortiz. In a duel promoted by Triller, the fight between the 2 living UFC legends ended in shock. The reason is, the Spider Anderson Silva managed to beat Tito Ortiz's knockout in the first round. Even though Ortiz appeared very aggressive with his various combination strokes, it finally made Anderson cornered. But Silva did not lose his reflexes and speed to keep up with Ortiz's domineering attack. Finally, Silva got a chance to hit Ortiz in the chin, then landed another extra punch that knocked Ortiz unconscious. Ortiz was unable to beat the referee's 10 count before regaining consciousness, so the fight was stopped with a win over Anderson Silva via technical knockout in the first round, in 81 seconds. Versus Julio Cesar Chavez. 3 months earlier, Anderson Silva had defeated former boxing champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, at Jalisco Stadium, Guadalajara, Mexico on June 19, 2021. Throughout the match, Anderson continued to trouble Chavez with a combination of punches and agile movements of his feet. Anderson was able to serve Chavez until the 8th round, until finally the battle was won by Anderson Silva via a numerical victory. Anderson's victory was very natural, considering that Anderson was previously a boxing athlete, but it was a long time ago, even before Anderson Silva entered the world of MMA. Floyd Mayweather vs Conor McGregor. Floyd Mayweather is a 12-time world boxing champion in 5 classes, while Conor McGregor is a former champion of 2 different weight classes in the UFC. Their fight was planned to last for 12 rounds, with Mayweather being 40 at the time, and Conor being 29 at the time. Previously, McGregor had boasted and believed that he could knock out Mayweather in 2 rounds, but for Mayweather, this was the high point of his career as a boxer, where he could set his record, going 50-0 unbeaten. Mayweather also made it clear that he would not go far to beat McGregor, and he did. The Money managed to beat the Notorious in the 10th round of the planned 12 rounds. In the ring, McGregor became very aggressive in the early rounds. Because this was his first fight in the world of boxing, McGregor was still struggling to adjust. Several times McGregor was seen warned by the referee for embracing from the side, as well as striking a tightly closed head by a double cover defense. At that time McGregor fought with an open defense, but often threw lightning strikes in a row, as much as 3 or 4 times. On the other hand, Mayweather, with a defensive and hitting style, managed to bring McGregor into the depths of his trap. The exhausted McGregor alternately attacked with combination after combination. It was clear that Mayweather was hunting for a knockout with a punch to the head. Entering the 10th round, Mayweather could smell blood, and he managed to land a few punches on the head before a wobbly McGregor was finally saved by the referee. Ricardo Mayorga vs Wesley Tiffer. The fight between Ricardo Mayorga vs Wesley Tiffer took place on Friday, 3 May 2013 in Managua, Nicaragua. Ricardo Mayorga is a former 2 world heavyweight champion from Nicaragua, while Wesley Tiffer is a Nicaraguan MMA fighter at featherweight. After arriving at 20 pounds over the prescribed weight, Mayorga was finally allowed into the MMA ring for the first time. Mayorga was declared victorious over Wesley, having managed to get out of the armbar triangle lock, and then kicked the opponent's back, and landed several punches, before the referee stopped the fight in the 3rd round. While Mayorga was celebrating the win, Tiffer and his team were furious, because it was clear attacking the opponent's back was illegal. Eventually, Tiffer appealed the contest results, and after a week of deliberation, the commission decided that Mayorga's knee strike was indeed illegal. The final decision was that Ricardo Mayorga's MMA victory was changed to no contest, and he was suspended from competition for 3 months after the Nicaraguan MMA Commission deemed Mayorga's knee strike to land illegally into the opponent's spine. James Toney vs Randy Couture. James Toney is a former world champion in middle to heavyweight boxing, while Randy Couture is an MMA legend. This cross-sports martial arts match took place on August 28, 2010, at UFC 118, at TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts, United States. Toney, a professional boxer with no mixed martial arts experience at all, decides to step into the octagon, where he will finally know what will happen to him. In fact, Toney knows that no one gets into MMA without studying at least 2 different martial arts disciplines. But Toney firmly believed that the power of the punch alone would bring him victory on the night. He says that wearing MMA gloves, which are only 5 ounces, rather than boxing gloves which are 12 ounces, will increase his speed and strength. If only this was a boxing match, Toney would destroy Couture in 1 round, but Couture did not underestimate the world of boxing, the opposite of Toney, who underestimated the world of MMA. In the ring, Toney received a strong response from Couture. Less than 1 minute, Couture easily knocked Toney, and did not allow the boxing champion to get back up. The picture then was Toney, a boxer with a 72-6-3 record and 2 without a contest, being mauled by an MMA home champion, which made 15,000 spectators stand up and shout excitedly. Bonus fights. Mercer vs Sylvia's team. Toney did lose against Couture, but the boxing world also has its own honor. That was when former world heavyweight champion Mercer shocked the MMA world, when he brutally beats former UFC heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia in an MMA crossover fight. At that time the fight did not last long, because Mercer managed to beat Silva by knockout, and ended the fight in just 9 seconds. Yet, the world of boxing got its honor at that time. Muhammad Ali vs Antonio Inoki. Perhaps this is the first crossover fight, where decades ago, Muhammad Ali created a sensation by facing a wrestler from Japan. But unfortunately, the duel between the 2 best people in their respective fields did not go according to everyone's expectations, or maybe except for Inoki. The Japan Times stated that initially Ali's camp thought that the fight with Inoki was just an exhibition match and the scenario had been prepared. However, upon arriving at the airport, Ali finds out that Inoki wants a serious fight. The label of the fight at that time was the fight of the century and was predicted to be watched by 1.4 billion people. But what happened in the ring, over the course of 15 rounds, was something really boring and disappointing. Well guys, those are 5 cross-branch fights between MMA versus martial arts. In your opinion, guys, which one is the most exciting among the matches? Please write your opinion in the comments column. Like if it is useful and share with your friends so they know. See you in another video. See ya.